Okie dokie. We are back for Roundtable Rams episode 3. I know we just recorded a preview for the divisional round matchup, but we had to jump back on and get this episode in to discuss all of the very tense and
Hmm.
nearly improbable win for the Los Angeles Rams. There is so much to go over. Thank you for my co-host Billie Melissa joining me once again. What a game! Um,
What a game. Another complete wild ride. There is like two or three playoff games that could have been emails, but this one,
yeah,
this
yeah.
one was a showdown.
I mean, yeah, like it's just to go over some quick stats real quick. Matthew Stafford, 20 of 42, 258 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Passer rating 67.4. Not great, obviously. But then you got Caleb Williams, 23 for 42, 257 yards, two touchdowns, three interceptions, passer rating 59.3. Very identical in the sense of that, yardage and whatnot. It's just Matthew Stafford didn't turn the ball over. Um, you know, well, he fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
Let's not say he didn't turn the ball over. He fumbled the ball for sure. But I mean, from the outset of the game when everything started, we've been discussing this with the Rams starting slow. They did not start slow last night. They were very much alive, very much awake. They capitalized on a turnover on downs, or excuse me, on an interception in the first
Mhm.
quarter. It started to kick things off. The um, Caleb Williams had a 34-yard bomb to DJ Moore, and they were looking like they were about to score a touchdown, and then he threw the ball. In my opinion, he threw the ball to Kobe Durant, which then the Rams walked it back down for a touchdown really quick in the first quarter. Uh, you know, Capitalizing on getting points off of a turnover. Fantastic, right?
Yeah. Really controlled, especially even before, the opening drive from the Rams following that was really controlled, complete 14 play, I think it was. Ending with a
Yep.
touchdown by Kyron Williams. So they really then came on and set the tone for how they were gonna, well, how they thought they were gonna continue the night.
Right. Which, yeah, this is exactly what we talked about in the previous episode, and just in general, like this is the Rams style of football. Like they start off either really slow and they catch back up, or they start fast but then they kind of meander, which is exactly what happened. They got that quick touchdown, 15-yard pass to Puka Nacua, another 15-yard pass to Jordan Whittington. It was good to see Whittington get involved because for some reason they sidelined Tutu Atwell. I'm sure Sean McVay will talk about that probably today if he didn't do it last night. I actually haven't seen, I didn't go back in the post game interview stuff and look, um, as I was very tired. As I've been saying, I'm still recovering from a cold, but that's neither here nor there. But Jordan Whittington was coming alive and getting some good yardage as well. And yeah, I mean, everything seemed to be going good in the beginning. And then we got that really quick 80-yard drive from the Bears at the start of the second quarter. They got their own stuff going on. Burden was getting involved, Zacchaeus was getting involved, DeAndre Swift, and then Colson Loveland. And Caleb Williams is moving the ball very well. And very quickly in the beginning of the second quarter, they get their own touchdown for 7-7. And that's when everything just started to slow way, way down.
Worth noting that the weather picked up massively in that second quarter. Field was looking a little bit more stacked with snow. Rams defense had some things to show for it, had a good third and one stop. Um, and then, yeah, I think Stafford kind of lost it a bit. He was sacked and he kind of missed a couple open receivers, I think.
Yeah,
So yeah, not as good. They began to slow down, and I think then that gave the Bears a chance to catch up and kind of going into the half, it tied 10-10, I think it was.
yeah.
Um, that just kind of then resets the game to basically 0-0, and you have to start all over again.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, yeah, like after the Bears touchdown, Rams punt, Rams punt, Bears downs, Rams punt, field goal, field goal. So not a whole lot happened in the second quarter. But this is a credit to both defenses. Like they were stopping Stafford, and and then same thing. The Rams defense was stopping Caleb Williams, and
Yeah.
so it was really a back and forth defensive battle. And then even in the third quarter, nothing happened. punt from the Rams, punt from the Bears, punt from the Rams, interception from Caleb Williams, punt from the Rams. Um, it wasn't until, yeah, I wish we could talk more about what was going on, but I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot going on. It was just a defensive battle through most of the game. I mean, we had that early touchdown from the Rams and then that early second quarter touchdown from the Bears, and a whole lot of nothing happened after that. Here in the fourth quarter, the Bears punt the ball to start. Really good stop by the Rams defense. There for them being on the field as much as they were on the field, they were not slowing down by any means. Like they were really tightening up and making sure they were getting Caleb Williams off the field. And then finally, the first offensive series for the Rams, they march downfield and get a very, very good touchdown. We had a 35-yard bomb from Stafford to Colby Parkinson. That was fantastic. Puka Nacua getting involved again. Devontae Adams starting to show up. It was a really good, quick touchdown for the Rams, and that was the beginning of the fourth quarter. And then they stopped the Bears again. Turnover on downs again. They were marching downfield. They were very close to a touchdown, and then they got stopped. Or rather, they were close to working their way into the Rams territory, and then they were stopped. And then the Rams punted again.
This is the thing, is it all seemed to happen at once, and then like that fourth quarter, third quarter, it was just like a halt.
Yeah. So we get down to there is less than 2 minutes. There's less than 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The Bears get the ball, and the impossible happens. Um, Caleb Williams quick throw to Colston Loveland, 18-yard pass. Then he gets a 12-yard pass to or no, Devontae or DeAndre Swift, 12-yard run, 6-yard pass, incompletion. We're looking at fourth down. It was fourth and what? Fourth and four, fourth and five. Um, it looked as if the Rams were gonna be able to put this away. But then the Caleb
It
Williams.
still looked like the Rams are going to be able to put this away.
Right. And it was like, okay, you know what? Hey, it was a defensive battle, but they got it done in the fourth quarter. Everything's all good. Everything's gravy. And they even chase Caleb Williams down. He runs backward like 10 or 15 yards. I think at that point, he was at the 50-yard line. If
Yeah,
I'm not
somewhere around
right,
midfield.
like 50, 55, like somewhere in that, or the 50 to the 45 of the Bears territory. I'm
Yep,
not sure. I don't remember exactly where off of his back foot, completely blind because he's getting chased down by multiple
I'm
Rams
seeing
defenders,
it.
and throws the most insane Hail Mary touchdown to tie it up with. It was to Cole Kmet. It was 14-yard touchdown pass, but I feel like he was further back, wasn't he? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I
That's
couldn't believe it. Like, honestly, when the ball went up, I was like, kind of not really looking anymore because I was like, well, that's that. And then I just turn around, see the screen, and he's there in the back corner, like clutching it. And I'm like, what do you mean he made that
Yeah,
catch?
this is a total fail by that secondary, which, as we were watching last night, the secondary was kind of getting carved up a little bit here and there. Obviously like the pass rush was there and they were making life hell for Caleb Williams, but the
Yeah,
secondary, Emmanuel Forbes Jr. got hurt early on and he was out of the game. They already had Darion Kendrick ruled out ahead of the game, and then also Keller Witherspoon is also out. So there was already some losses there in the secondary, but this was no excuse for that. Like you needed to have your pass rusher, sure, but everyone should have been man and just like helping out and
yeah.
making sure that type of play did not happen. But that
No,
wasn't the
they definitely
case.
took for granted that that just looked like an impossible pass, kind of gave up, and then was like paying
Yeah,
for it when they saw him in the
no,
back.
yeah, I think that's exactly kind of what happened. And Caleb Williams, he's known for doing this type of play. He did it a lot at USC. He wants to extend plays and do that Caleb Williams magic. And most of the time, it doesn't work because it's like you're holding onto the ball too long. You get sacked or it just interception, whatever. But
Yeah.
this was insane. Like he did not look like he knew where he was throwing the ball. He
No,
just heaved it up. At which point, like it's fourth and four. This is the last play of the fourth quarter. Why the hell not? Why the hell not throw it up there and hope for a
why not?
miracle, basically?
And a miracle it was. Fully landed in. And I think that that's what's the most devastating thing when we head into overtime is like, I think the Bears might have just just had the edge on the Rams just a little bit, and so it was kind of a shame that it ended up for them the way that it did.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, they get the touchdown, we go into overtime, and we're all tied up 17-17. You know, everybody, everybody on the Rams side on looks sick. You know, you got players like, hitting their helmets like, "Oh, what the hell just happened?" Their head in their hands. Obviously, they didn't lose the game at that point, but you let something like that happen, you're
Yeah.
worried, and
It's a
yeah.
momentum shift. You're going into overtime, you're giving the Bears kind of their swag back, and they're, ready to kind of take this away and win it.
Yeah, and then so the Rams get the ball to start the overtime quarter, punt immediately, and I was like, this is not looking good. They didn't. Again, it's a credit to both defenses. Like through over 4 quarters of action, they were still this dynamic on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
It's insane that they were being on the field as much as they were because both offenses couldn't get anything done, and so you know Caleb Williams start to march. Caleb Williams and the Bears start to march downfield. It's looking pretty dicey. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
so
he's running all over the place, making first downs, like
yep, yep,
looking
yeah,
good.
yeah. He had
Fourth and
a
inches, looking good.
yeah, yeah. They were picking up first downs. They were at the Rams 48, and then Caleb Williams throws a deep pass that was intended for DJ Moore, and then Cam Curl comes down with it. Oh my God, here we go. I was like thinking, I was like, this is the only way that they're going to stop this because they were getting closer and closer to that
Yeah, field goal range.
field goal range. Like I don't even think at that point they probably could have gone for the field
Yeah.
goal, and they didn't. Obviously, they Caleb Williams threw it up. Cam Crow intercepts the ball, and it's a simple what? That's when Matthew Stafford starts. Kobe Parkinson 15-yarder. You got Devontae Adams 12-yarder. 4-yard run, 16-yard pass
The
to
Rams
Puka
were just
Nakua.
pushing it down. It was the no huddle offense, keeping the momentum up,
Yep.
just giving the Bears absolutely zero time to have a think about what was going on. I think that they really controlled that final drive really well.
Yeah, and even then it started. I was still a little worried. I was like, okay, they're
Yeah.
getting the ball downfield. They were kind of already in field goal range, but I was like, maybe they're still out of it. I don't know. What's
You
gonna
never know with
happen.
those longer ones, especially with the weather being the way it was. It really, you want to get as close as possible.
And then out comes the thicker kicker, Harrison Mevis. He comes out, he drills it, and the freaking Rams win it in a thrilling overtime situation that should have not happened, but it did
No, and
happen.
also Ferguson dropped, there was like an incomplete pass in the end zone as well. Like even then, it's still kind of being handed to the Rams. They weren't really taking advantage of it. And so I felt so bad for the Bears having to like sit there and watch them in their own field, Rams
Yeah.
take away that win.
Honestly, I mean, credit to the Bears for this season. They were a very
Yeah.
big surprise. I'm not a Bears hater by any stretch of the imagination. I think they're a solid team. Ben Johnson has clearly done something very special with Caleb Williams. They're going to
Yeah.
keep continue to keep doing that. They need some more help in certain places on the roster there, but I think they're going to be back even stronger in year two. But the Rams are now set up to take on the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC divisional
Yeah, for the
game.
third time.
So I was talking about how close the first two matchups between these teams are. So Field Yates posted some stats that I want to read because this is how insanely crazy these first two matchups with these two teams. So the Rams and Seahawks split the season series 1-1. We talked about that last episode. Points scored in those games: Rams 58, Seahawks 57. Total yards in those two games: Rams
Crazy.
830, Seahawks 829. Both of those games are scored, I mean, were decided by a field goal or less. And now they're going to not only decide who gets to go to the Super Bowl for the NFC, but they also get to decide who won the series out of both of these teams, which is
Yeah.
obviously not the point, not the thing that matters
To
here.
them, it
But
might be. They want to show who's better in the division.
hey, I mean, honestly, I'll just say this. I'll be very frank. I'm very worried for the Rams in the sense of like the way that they've played is not saying this is not going to help them against the Seahawks. Like,
Yeah.
um, but I'll say that to say this is the Seahawks often kind of fold under steep pressure, and that's obviously what the Rams can do and will do against Sam Darnold and company is rattle his cage and hopefully make him, kind of make some mistakes. But that Seahawks defense is insane.
Hmm.
On the flip side, that's exactly what they're going to do to Stafford. And Stafford, the last two games, has been a little off. He's been a little overthrow, underthrow, kind of, what are you doing kind of a thing. So we'll see what happens. But it's going to be an exciting game for sure.
Oh, for sure. That is setting up to be the one to watch this weekend of the two because whatever's going on in the AFC weekend is, the NFC is definitely the one to watch. I will say though, it's crazy how the Rams lost to the Seahawks with Matthew Stafford throwing for 457 yards and still losing, and Puka Nacua having 12 receptions for 225 yards and two touchdowns and still losing the game. And so there's no real like giveaway in this game to say, what the real keys are. You would say, oh, just get the ball to Puka, just get Matthew Stafford throwing downfield. There's no prediction on this game of which way it's going to go.
No, definitely. I think one of the most glaring odd things to me from last night's game, I mean, obviously he was running very well, but the Rams did not give Blake Corum the ball like at all. Like it was very
Mm-mm.
strange that he was I want to say it wasn't until the third quarter that he was actually getting some action in terms of carrying the ball. Let me see actually. Yeah, Blake Corum in the third. I think it was the third quarter that he finally got some touches. So he ended the game with 6 touches for 19 yards. Kyron Williams, 21 for 87, 4.1 average, two touchdowns. I mean, obviously, yeah, you want to go with the back that's giving you more production. But at the same time, I did find it a little odd that they were not splitting carries like they normally do.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing when Kyron Williams is doing well, but I don't know. I feel like what the Rams need to do is get that dual action going like they were doing in the regular season with both of them, especially against the Seahawks. And I don't know right now if Zach Charbonnet is still hurt, but I want to say he hurt his shoulder.
He
And
did, but I think the news is he's optimistic about playing this
okay,
weekend.
yeah.
Obviously,
So
maybe they might just be coach speak, just trying to throw off the Rams, but it seems like he should be good to go.
yeah, so I mean they have their own kind of dual back situation. Kenneth Walker went off and what was it, three
Yep.
touchdowns that he got
Hmm.
or 140 yards, some crazy
Something
amount.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean they have their own situation going on, but I think the Rams, like really they were
116 yards, three touchdowns,
that's crazy. Um
6.1 yards per carry.
yeah, so I mean I don't know. I mean, I really think that this game could be a kind of run first type of deal because, both
Yep.
defenses are going to be there trying to shut down the pass attack from opposite ends. And I think the Rams are going to really need to rely on both of their backs and those design runs with Puka Nacua. He had a couple, he had 2 for 6 yards. Obviously, not that crazy. Even Jordan Whittington got involved in a design run as well.
Hmm. I noticed from the stats that the winner of the run game in each of their last two matchups has won the game. So that is worth noting going into this NFC Championship because I think that there was a moment in the game yesterday, the Rams kind of abandoned the run for a little bit,
Yeah.
briefly, not long enough to really notice it, but like I think, then they started to kind of bring it back. And while it wasn't as dynamic as it has been in previous games, maybe because they didn't have the dual threat going on, it has been the case that whoever's won the run game the last two times is going to win. So I think that that's going to be a real focus in practice this week when they're preparing.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, you got to get Blake Corum back in there.
Hmm.
It's as simple as
And
that. You got
Charbonnet, if he's good to go.
yeah. And on the Seahawks side, they're going to rely on Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker to get some damage done. They have their own. They have Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's their Puka Nacua. And he's insanely good. He was a leading receiver in the NFL, yardage wise, and so this is like when you look at it, it's a pretty even match in the sense of like obviously it's 1-1, so it really is even. But
Hmm.
these are divisional rivals. These are two teams that know each other very well. These are two teams that have met twice already in the regular season, and now this is the third meeting for the biggest game of the regular season to decide who is going to be going to the Super Bowl. Obviously, you got to pull out all the stops here, like we said last time. Um, I feel like the Rams didn't do that in this divisional matchup, but now they need to do it because this is your only chance to get to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Obviously, they're going to want to do that. It's going to be a really interesting matchup. As much as we've said, like, you got to watch out for the Seahawks because clearly they're that good. I mean, they just demolished the San Francisco 49ers twice.
A
They did
hurt
it.
San Francisco 49ers, but still demolish them nonetheless.
Yeah, they're a very hurt team. They got very far, but I mean, like, even yeah, those are the circumstances, but it is what it is. That's what they did. They're a really really good team. They're really strong, and this is going to be a really tough challenge. But divisional matchups are always hard for both teams, no matter what. And like I said, like we've already mentioned, they're 1-1 on the season so far. Um, I don't want to. I'm not going to sit here and say that the Seahawks are going to run away with the win. I'm not going to sit here and say
Mm-mm.
that the Rams are going to lose horribly. Um, by any means, this is anybody's game right now. As it stands, everybody is 0-0. They're going to go into this week of preparation. We're going to find out what the hell happened to Tutu Atwell because for him being out of this game, I thought was very weird. I know I forgot what his injury was this season. Do, 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 Is a hamstring injury. That's right. That he
Those
re-aggravated.
hamstrings this season.
Yeah, so he had it early on in the season, then he re-aggravated it, and then he was out for a while, and then he came back towards the tail end of the regular season. He wasn't on the injury report, which is why it's weird that he was ruled out. Again, Sean McVay probably will talk about that in this week and and let everybody know what happened. But that did give Jordan Whittington more action, and he did show up in a decent way. Let's see, he had two catches for 35 yards. Not bad, you know.
Not bad. For two.
What's Yeah, what's actually crazy here, what I think benefited the Rams a lot against the Bears is how many different receivers actually got the ball. Colby
Hmm.
Parkinson, Puka Nacua, Jordan Whittington, Kyron Williams, Tyler Higbee, Devontae Adams, Terrence Ferguson, and Konata Mumfield all got the ball.
Yeah.
258 passing yards. Nobody got a touchdown, obviously, but they were Matthew Stafford was dishing the ball out to everyone, basically. And I think that's something that they need to continue against the Seahawks is to get the ball, just stretch it around and just get everybody involved in that offense, have them second guessing. Because if they're going to be paying attention more, on to Puka Nacua to Devontae Adams, that opens up the
Yep.
field for that middle. Those every single one of those receivers is good with the yards after the catch. So it's like that's how you're gonna whittle. You're gonna whittle down their defense little by little. The Seahawks is to just dish it out to whoever.
The Seahawks really just have to hope that their defense can keep up. I think for me, this game will be one if Stafford can throw measured, careful passes. There were a couple of odd choices he made um, yesterday evening. I think getting pressure on Donald is going to be big for the Rams defense. Having to shut down JSN is its own challenge on itself.
Mhm.
And I think just for me, the Rams really have to take care of that ball because Seattle is so good at just ripping it out of your hands and running away with it. And so that's going to be the main thing, just controlling the game early on and seeing if they can, just being quick and decisive the whole time, not giving Seattle time to think on defense and just running it away with it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And it's kind of wild here. So the Rams did not get a sack on Caleb Williams at all, and they only had
Nope.
four quarterback hits. But it was that pressure, that constant pressure from Braden Fisk and um, from Byron Young and everybody getting in there and really rattling Kobe Turner, everybody rattling that cage of Caleb Williams really paid off. So that's the same thing they have to do to Darnold no matter what. And we've seen, Darnold kind of like you know, get his feathers ruffled and then make mistakes. And that's the main thing that the Rams got to do here is really got to force him to throw the ball and throw those interceptions. I mean, obviously the Rams have the Cam Curl, they got, Kobe Durant. Those guys are just showing up in the playoffs, especially. So hopefully they can continue to do that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Sam Donald doesn't need amazing stats to win the game. I think it was like what, 124 yards, one touchdown. I think his defense has really been taking care of him more than anything.
Hmm.
Um, And, I think that it's really just gonna have to be about Stafford getting it done and just being really careful with what he's doing. Because it is this time of year when those emotions are high that those mistakes can come into play. People can drop the ball, things can happen. And I think that that is kind of what happened on yesterday evening was just some really small things, like letting him get that final touchdown
Yeah.
in the final seconds. It's really, really going to be about that because there is no way of just saying, oh, this is the better team that's coming in and they're going to take it away. It's really going to be a battle for both of them, especially as we've seen both games have been decided by one score.
Yeah. 14 interceptions, by the way, is what Sam Darnold had.
Yep,
14.
he was the leading interception
Oh,
quarterback coming into the playoffs. So
yeah. And so he had two interceptions against Pittsburgh, still won that game. He had an interception in the Tampa Bay game. They lost that one. Interceptions against Houston, Washington, Arizona. Four interceptions against the Rams the last time they played in November. So and they lost that game.
yeah,
So again,
just
it's an obvious statement to say rattle his cage, make him make mistakes, but that's really like what the Rams need to do. That's what they need. They need this defense to be on top of everything. Hopefully, they get Emmanuel Forbes back. We'll see what happens with that. He was the only injury of significance that did happen in the game. So thankfully for the Rams, they're not going to have to deal with any of their starters being out.
Mhm.
We'll see what happens, but I mean, it's gonna be a very wild game.
They have been, all of them have been. It's been really open, really exciting to watch. Some really big heartbreakers this weekend. So, I don't think there's any given. People have been talking big about the Seattle defense, but if the Rams can show up and kind of show off in on defense too, they might want to come in and say, "Hey, look at us! Like we've got this too. We were once the guys on defense, so watch what we can do."
No, definitely. I don't think either team is going to come into this overconfident, and they shouldn't
Nope.
because of their previous matchups, like we said. And obviously, like you said, you hit the nail on the head. Like emotions are going to be running high. This is the NFC Championship game. This is, this matters a great deal to both teams. You have to be on your A game. It's going to be a
Mhm.
really interesting showdown. I'm very curious to see how it goes down. I think it's going to be another defensive battle similar to what the
Yep.
Rams faced with the Bears. I don't think it's going to be anything but that. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring affair by any means, but then it could be.
It
Maybe
could
like
be. They've had two very different games, two very, very completely different games. So, it really could go either way. But I do think it's just going to be whoever dominates quicker, faster, earlier is going to be the one that comes away with it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 21-19 was the last time that they played, and that's the Rams won 21, and then the first game they won 38-37 in overtime. So that was a complete shootout, but that was also week three. So, or
Yep.
was that
No,
week?
there was November 16th and December
No,
19th.
there you go. My bad. That's not week three. They met in November 1st and they lost, and then it was that overtime showdown that they
Seahawks
won.
win.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you're right. It could go either way. This could be a complete shootout, or it could be just defensive all the way to the very bitter end. Um, I think I think the Rams just need to really. I think they need to get Blake Corum involved again. Keep dishing that ball out to whoever. I mean, the Rams have the best tight end room in the entire league, in my opinion. They have Colby Parkinson, they have Terrence Ferguson, um, and they just yeah they. I'm excited. I'm excited to see this game. This is gonna
And
be this
see,
is this is gonna be a heavyweight battle. Between both. We'll see what happens.
we will see. We will see. I'm excited.
Definitely. Yeah, I believe it's gonna be on Sunday. Both games should be
Late
on
night
Sunday.
Sunday. I
Yeah,
think, is it both of them?
I believe so. I believe one's
Yeah.
in the morning, one's at night, but I could be wrong. I could be
I
wrong with
know
that.
one's at 8 p.m. here and the others, I think, at like 11. But for some reason, I thought they were on different days.
Let me see.
Let me see.
Nope.
Oh, no, yeah,
Nope.
both,
Both on
both
Sunday.
Sundays.
Yeah,
I'm
12
gonna need
o'clock.
my pre-game nap over here.
As you should. Yeah, 12 o'clock my time for the New England Denver matchup, and then 3:30 for the NFC between the Rams and Seahawks. Yeah, this
8 and
is
11 here if you're in the UK.
there you go. If you're in the
Get your
UK,
naps in.
if you're watching in the UK, you'll be up a lot later than I will have to be up. But yeah, right now the Seahawks are favored by two and a half points.
I see
Uh,
that.
yeah, they're playing at home, so obviously that's not a really big favorite, but Yeah. Wow. What a game. What a comeback from the Rams. They continue to fight. They continue to show why they are worthy of being in the NFC Championship game. They have a
Well,
tall
that's the
task.
thing is, they keep coming down to these fine lines, but they do win. They get it done. They're not being stomped all over by any team. And so, you know, if they really have to get it done and they're really, coming down to the fine things, they've got the age behind them, they've got the experience behind them. It's going to be a battle.
No, I agree completely. And it doesn't matter how you win. It doesn't matter
Just
how
gotta
it
win.
happens, just win. That's
Yeah.
that's what separates championship level teams from other teams. It doesn't matter who you're up against. It doesn't matter what happens in that game. If you can hold together in that fourth quarter in overtime and get it done, that's really that's it.
Yeah. That's all you got
Um,
to do. All you got
yeah,
to do is win. It's that simple, guys. So just get out there.
just win, baby, as the Raiders legend says. Al Davis, for anybody that doesn't know, it might be a little too people listening might be maybe too young for that one. Whatever, doesn't matter. But yeah,
No, we know exactly.
we will be back. Actually, I will be on vacation the following week. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, I will be on vacation from the 27th through the 3rd. So I will actually be on a boat watching the game. Zzz. Um,
That's one way to watch it.
no, sorry. I'm all, see, my brain is just not working
You don't
because
even know where you are.
I don't even know where I am or no.
That's January for you. It's Blue
I
Monday.
will be on vacation following the NFC Championship game. So
Sure.
we will probably be back next Monday to record again, talking about the win or the loss, whatever happens. And then I will be on vacation and then after that, prepared for whoever's going to be in the Super Bowl. For coverage purposes, we hope it's the Rams so we can keep talking about them. Obviously, we will continue to talk about them no matter what. If they happen to lose to the Seahawks, we will start talking all about
To see what went
what's
wrong.
yeah, what went wrong, and then also transitioning into where they go from here. Free agency will be starting up here in March, and then we will talk all about how the Rams have two first round picks, which is going to be very interesting to see what they do with those two first round picks. Um, I think they're going to trade back again to stack even
Hmm.
more for 2027. This is a conversation for another time, but this is just how I feel about it. I think they're going to move back again, stack another first round pick potentially to have in 2027, and then potentially be going after that successor to Matthew Stafford. I don't think that they are going to be able to get Fernando Mendoza, who's obviously going to go to the Raiders. Dante Moore is skipping the NFL draft and is going to stay at Oregon. Could be someone that the Rams target 2027 to
Next year.
succeed Matthew Stafford. This is all we'll get more into that later. But thank you guys so
That's what
much.
you got to look forward to.
Exactly. We're just giving you a preview of what could happen in the coming weeks if the Rams do not win in the NFC Championship game, but we are not fortune tellers. We will be back next week. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, Billy, for joining me once again. This has been Roundtable Rams, episode 3. We will be back next week to talk all about the results.